So my policy on homework is that students will have a half an hour to an hour of homework each night because I am assigning homework for them to take home and do. They will be graded because I think that it's important for if students are doing the homework that we assign that they should get a grade or they should get feedback. And so some homework will be graded on completion and others on correctness. If a student is sick or unable to attend my class, they must contact me in order to receive the missing work, and they can make it up. If the absence is unexcused, they will be able to make up the work, but they will only receive half credit for being absent in class. And so this would be in my 8th grade math class. I do not want to give an amount of homework that would overwhelm the student outside of classroom. If there's time in class, I will allow students to start working on their homework because I understand that students also have extracurricular activities or family time outside of school, and that is also high priorities. And so they need to be able to do that without feeling overwhelmed and burdened by their homework. And so according to the article that I read from Concordia University, it's called Homework in Middle School, Building a Foundation for Study Skills by Katrin Blake. Homework in my 8th grade classroom is setting students up for success in high school and college, and it helps them develop study skills and time management and responsibility because as they get farther into their education, the homework level increases and the amount that they are expected to do increases. So when grading math tests or when grading homework, I will use the standards-based grading. And so I'll use a scale of 4. And so if you get a 1, that means that you're developing, and it's kind of like they can demonstrate or they don't demonstrate the material correctly, and or they don't explain the material correctly at all. A 2 would be partial proficiency. They can partially demonstrate material correctly, like they're almost there but not quite, and or their explanation is kind of in the same situation where they could add more. And then a 3 would be if you're proficient, and that's when you can demonstrate the material correctly, but the explanation is not all the way there. They need to expand on it more. And a 4 would be advanced, and that's when they can demonstrate the material correctly and is able to explain their reasoning clearly and correctly. And so in the standards-based grading article, they gave an example of an Algebra 1 student. So they may receive a 4 out of 4 in polynomials and quadratic equations, but only a 2, which means partial proficiency, in linear equations. And then typically, students may take several tries at mastering whatever areas they are weak in. And as teachers, this will allow us to understand where our students are at with our teaching and what subject we need to go touch more on and figure out what they need more work in. And so I also interviewed my brother-in-law, who is a middle school teacher at CJ. And it is part of CJ, it is in their handbook that says that students will have at least an hour of homework at night. And so there's homework, but I know that he does allow his students to get started on it early, and it is graded. And I believe that a lot of his homework is graded on completion or graded on whether or not it's correct. And so, yeah, my philosophy in grading is that students will have homework and they will have tests, and then they will be graded in similar ways so that students can look at their formative assessments and be able to prepare for their summative assessments on a similar grading scale. And that is my grading policy.